Maybe get inspired to pursue a career in public service.
It gave me a sense of purpose, honestly.
But last month, the Trump administration's Department of Government Efficiency suddenly cut nearly $400 million at AmeriCorps programs. Thousands of volunteers across the country stopped getting stipends, including dozens here in Sunset Park. Christy Mansell oversees after-school programs through the nonprofit Center for Family Life in Sunset Park, which has partnered with AmeriCorps for years.
It was devastating, and we had to bring all the members together and give them this news.
After the cuts, the center hired AmeriCorps members as temporary staff just to help them cover their bills through the end of their contracts in June. But it's not clear whether they'll still be able to get the college grants they were promised. And Mansell worries about the impact on such idealistic young people.
I think for that generation, it could create some cynicism and disappointment and deciding not to try and volunteer and get involved in the future.
She says without the AmeriCorps volunteers, her after-school programs will have to cut hundreds of slots for kids, which parent Barbara Aviles says would be devastating.
I'm a working mom. All my family works. I don't have childcare. I will probably have to take off for work to stay with them. And who's gonna go buy the necessary things?
25 states are suing to stop the cuts. But officials with the Trump administration say AmeriCorps has failed multiple audits, so they're restructuring it. Federal officials overseeing AmeriCorps say it was in the process of making improvements when the Trump administration made the cuts. Jessica Gould, WNYC News.
WNYC is supported by the Frick Collection. The Frick is back at its renovated home. Visitors can explore the museum's masterpieces in restored galleries and experience more of the collection on its newly opened second floor. Reserve tickets at frick.org.
Domestic abuse happens all around us. How we deal with it varies.
Everybody's sitting here talking about what we could do. Let's start with prevention. What if in kindergarten they had conflict mediation classes?
I'm Brian Dories from Theater of War Productions. Join me for a reading with the actors Deborah Winger and Bill Irwin and a conversation about domestic abuse in two communities, New York City and rural Tennessee. Tomorrow at 2 p.m. on WNYC.
Marketplace Morning Report is next, and later on Morning Edition, former FBI Director James Comey has a new novel out. FDR Drive is about free speech and what happens when someone's words incite violence.
It's about a right-wing podcaster who is trying to motivate his followers to engage in acts of violence against the targets of his vitriol.
Now, Comey himself is under investigation because of something he posted on Instagram. He talks about that coming up ahead next hour of Morning Edition from NPR and WNYC. 48 degrees, cloudy skies. There's a chance of rain today. It'll be cloudy with a high around 63 degrees. You're listening to WNYC at 6:51.
Housing is in a slump.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by WSJ Plus, a news bundle offering global insights and market tools from 4 business and finance publications so readers can explore every angle.
From Marketplace, I'm Sabri Ben-Shor in for David Brancaccio. Sales of existing homes fell in April to about 4 million sales a year. For comparison, almost 7 million existing homes were sold a year from 2020 to 2022. Those numbers are from the National Association of Realtors. Later this morning, we're going to hear how brand new homes are selling. Odds are those numbers were down too in April. And it's no surprise, really. Home prices are high, mortgage rates are high, and there's lots of economic uncertainty. Marketplace's Mitchell Hartman reports.
Mortgage rates are now hovering near 7%, and the median existing home price just hit $414,000, according to the National Association of Realtors. Lori Goodman at the Urban Institute says for households that have been renting and are looking to own,
house prices far outpacing wage growth over the last 5 years, affordability is just severely challenged.
Meanwhile, builders are hesitant to break ground with borrowing and material costs so high. The inventory of existing homes for sale is gradually improving, up 20% year over year, says Zillow economist Orphe Divounguy.
If you have more supply coming on the market and inventory accumulating, you should get downward pressure on prices.
Zillow forecasts home prices will fall nearly 1% over the next year, even more in top markets like New York, LA, Chicago, Dallas, and Washington, D.C. I'm Mitchell Hartman for Marketplace.
All right, let's do the numbers. Dow, S&P, and NASDAQ futures are all down in the 1 to 0.2% range, with Dow futures down 66 points. The yield on the 10-year Treasury is 4.5%.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Progressive Insurance. Progressive is looking for individuals who want to join an inclusive and unique culture. More information, including application, at progressive.com/careers. And by Total Wine and More, helping shoppers love what they find this summer season at TotalWine.com. Drink responsibly. Be 21.
Anytime there is a major natural disaster and people are desperate to put their lives back together, they may feel a suddenly very real pressure to sell their land or what's left of their homes as quick as possible and at very low prices. Investors trying to take advantage of that situation may offer very low prices. The collateral damage of this transaction is that communities disappear. In California, there's a proposed law that would help people who lost homes in the wildfires avoid this. Marketplace's David Brancaccio reports.
Soon after the firestorms in Southern California this year, some folks got calls, texts, and visits, not from venture capitalists, but from what many considered vulture capitalists.
Predatory investors, more outside financial interests, start offering folks, cents on the dollar for their houses at a time when a lot of people are desperate.
California State Representative John Harabedian, a Democrat, represents Altadena, a center of one of the fires, a town where more than 9,000 homes and businesses were lost. My across-the-street neighbor in Altadena, a retiree named Sandra, says she got creepy low-ball offers, which she ignored. The California governor initially banned unsolicited offers like this, but that moratorium ran out in April. Now Assemblyman Harabedian has introduced a state bill to deal with this.
It is incumbent on us to figure out how do we get them a humane exit at fair market value so they get every dollar and every cent that they're owed for their house at a time when fair market value is very questionable.
Back to the two words Harabedian used earlier, predatory and outside. Below market offers is the predatory part. The word outside refers to outside financial interests coming in to buy property, buyers who might not take into account local values and local needs, possibly altering the unique character of these places. The hope is a proposed investment vehicle could address both.
This is an innovative financial model to finance these transactions at a zero cost to the state. This would not cost the state any money.
So if not state taxpayers, then where's the money coming from? The answer is a 1977 federal law that leans on banks to lend to help disadvantaged communities. The idea is for California to create an investment using what's called Community Reinvestment Act money from banks, which would flow to investors who then use the money to buy burned property for normal and not fire sale prices. Who gets to use that money? Under this plan, not just anybody. The eligible investors would be nonprofit organizations. And here's the key part: organizations with roots in the community.
These will be entities and organizations and individuals that live and work in the community, and they won't be outside investors that are just looking to make an extra dollar off of a disaster.
It's an idea with support from a big philanthropy, the California Community Foundation. Miguel Santana, the foundation's president and CEO, says these nonprofit investors could choose to develop the burned land in a way that addresses the housing affordability crisis.
For example, making the property available for first-time homeowners who are looking to buy, or for people who've been displaced in the community.
After a nonprofit builds on the property or finds a buyer it likes, it would sell and use the proceeds to pay back the bank for its capital and the state for running the program. The nonprofit would also keep some of the money for its trouble.
There's an ability to align mission to the selling of the property itself.
This is all a bet that land values will return once all the debris, toxic soot, and general disruption gets cleared, which is a decent bet given the persistently tight real estate market in Southern California. In fact, more than 4 months after the fire, real estate people tell me the law of supply and demand has already boosted sale prices for burned land, at least for the medium-sized to smaller flat parcels.
There just aren't very many to be had, certainly in LA County.
Teresa Fuller is a real estate agent who specializes in selling the burned lots of Altadena.
I really want to see people in Altadena who have experienced so much loss, who want and need to move on. I want to see everyone get the most.
Marketplace's David Brancaccio reporting there on what's called the Community Stabilization Act that is still winding its way through committees in the California legislature. In New York, I'm Sabri Benishore with the Marketplace Morning Report. From APM, American Public Media.
WNYC